Okay, fantastic. Hello, everybody. My name is Patricia Perlman-Dee, and I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes talking to you about how something that happened out of necessity in COVID led to a quite permanent feature in our now teaching methods. So we're going to talk about how we used OneNote in developing peer-to-peer feedback and digital skills in a formative assessment. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the course, give you actually a practical example of how we did this and how we used OneNote for feedback and peer-to-peer learning, and then the clear benefits that the students gained from this. So let's set the scene. So I teach on the MBA program. This is a course on the MBA program. It's a non-for-profit consultancy project course, one of the first courses the students take when they come onto the MBA program. They're quite new and fresh. We put them in groups of 5 to 6 students. So there's 20 group in total, and they all work on their independent consultancy project that are very, very different. Now, the way it's structured is we have a number of lectures, and then we teach them a number of framework, and they are then supposed to apply these framework. And what we ask them to do is to apply each of these framework and then upload this into OneNote. And the other thing we ask them to do is to provide feedback to another group that's uploaded the framework in OneNote. Now, it started off by actually being very clear in the signposting. So from our virtual learning environment, making sure they could find OneNote what they needed to do. Following on from that, I'd already set up in OneNote an example of what they were expected to do. So I had pre-populated with all the groups, and then I gave them instruction of what to do, of how to upload their file, their framework, and then I gave them instruction of what type of feedback they should be providing. So in this case, for the first framework, which what we called an issue tree, they should provide 3 strong points and 3 areas of improvement. Now, as I said, we're very clear instruction of what they needed to do. Not everyone followed that. So some of them went a bit further and actually uploaded the picture rather than the file. But hey, we believe in creativity. So why not? So you could see that some of them, took it a step further and really challenged the digital skills. Now, the benefit here was that the students could see all the groups contributions. Now, because each project was different, it was not that one group would be to advantage of another. They all had different projects, but they could all see different ways of applying this framework, truly applying peer-to-peer learning and learning from each other. Now, the feedback, on the other hand, as I thought was quite clear, strong points, weak or areas of improvement. Again, there was quite mixed in what people contributed with. So you can see on the left here, some groups gave extensive feedback and others were probably a bit slower. And this is a detailed breakdown, color scheme easy to follow. We can discuss about how constructive that is, but the point being is this was also part of teaching them to provide feedback. The other framework they were supposed to be doing, so they did this exercise twice. Now, the same thing, we signposted in Blackboard, but this time they were a bit quicker knowing where to upload the framework. So they upload their framework in OneNote, and again, they had a benefit if they could see everybody's. Now, the feedback here was slightly different, and we asked them to be more, give more feedback on the way the framework was applied. So in this case, is what about how could they get data? And are they sensible measurements that they've done or any other comments? They were actually slightly better this time at providing feedback because this was now in the true application of the framework. And again, no one was disadvantaged because they all had different projects. So they actually all was a question about applying this and then being able to provide this feedback, both reflecting on their own work, but also helping their peers. Now, to conclude, what was the benefit of this? So something that was born out of necessity because students couldn't talk to each other in the classroom. This was a way of encouraging peer-to-peer learning, a way of providing feedback, trying to give them directions of how to provide feedback. You say some of them, they got better at it with time. They also got better actually enhancing their digital skills because the second time they did it, They just knew what to do. But they got two separate feedback views as well, in addition, as from the tutor. So it did provide room for reflection as well and gave them the opportunity to compare and contrast, simply because this little thing called COVID forced us to go online and use digital tool that now has become a permanent feature. Thank you very much.